Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to learn about the physiology of small intestine. A small intestine is a tube-shaped structure that is the part of GIT, and that is around about 20 feet long. It continues to digest food, and the food stay in the small intestine for 4 to 8 hours. As you can see in the diagram, the small intestine is actually this colored portion is the small intestine. Small intestine actually extend from the stomach to the large intestine. You can see that the small intestine connect the stomach with the large intestine. Small intestine basically consists of 3 main parts. One is duodenum, the second one is jejunum, and the third one is ileum. You should not be confused with the ileum, which is written with the ILIUM. Ileum is something else. I will explain that in the bones and the veins and arteries. The duodenum is a C-shaped structure. You can see this is the smallest part of the small intestine, and in the duodenum, secretion take place. Also absorption take place over here, but a lot of secretion take place over here. Though this is the C-shaped structure, and this is round about 1 foot. The duodenum is 1 foot in the length. This is the smallest part, as I have told already. The second part is you can see in the blue color. This the jejunum, and this is the second largest part of the small intestine, and this is round about 8 to 9 feet in length, and basically absorption take place in this. Also somewhat secretion also take place in the jejunum, but absorption take place in the absorption take place in the jejunum. You should also learn about the duodenum. Duodenum is the word which is derived from a Greek word which mean 12 fingers. Basically the length of the duodenum is just about the length of the 12 finger. If we connect 12 finger adjacently, so the length of the duodenum is somewhat the length of the 12th finger. That is why this is called duodenum. The jejunum is the word which means to be empty. The jejunum is the word. This is also derived from the Greek word which means to be empty. So this part of the small intestine remains empty after death of the human body. That is why this always remains empty. The jejunum always remain empty. We also conduct the experimental procedure on the jejunum. That's why, because this remain empty after death. The death of the animal or a human. This is the second largest part of the small intestine. This is almost 8 to 9 feet in length, and the third part of the small intestine, that is ileum. Ileum is the largest part of the largest in length of the small intestine. This part of the small intestine is actually that part of the small intestine which is connected with the cecum of the large intestine, and this is almost 11 feet in length. This is 11 feet in length. So the whole length of the small intestine is around about 20 feet, and you should also learn about the 20 feet small intestine means the 20 feet length of small intestine of a cadaver, of a dead body, not living body. The living body is almost half in length of small intestine. The living body, the small intestine is having 10 feet length, 10 feet, while in the cadaver or in the dead body, this is almost 20 feet. 20 feet. And the ileum, not ileum. So The whole small intestine is having 20 feet of the, and in that of the cadaver, while in the living body there is 10 feet. Mm, this is also the diagram of the small intestine, and this part of the small intestine is connected with the first part of the large intestine, that is cecum. It is called cecum. In the diagram you can see over here that this is a C-shaped structure. This one is a C-shaped structure, and this is you should learn this, that this is actually the duodenum, which is connected with the over here, that is connected with the stomach through pyloric sphincter. Actually, the pyloric sphincter divide duodenum from the small intestine. The duodenum from the stomach. The duodenum is separated from the stomach with the help of pyloric sphincter. That is the muscular structure that allow one-sided flow of food or the chyme. So over here you can see that this is this one. This structure, this is actually the pancreas. This is the and this duct of Wersen. You can see pancreatic duct. This pancreatic duct, the pancreas is having two ducts basically, which opens into the small intestine, which open into the duodenum part of the small intestine. So one tube is one tube opens directly. This tube, you can see this one. This tube opens directly into the small intestine or into the duodenum, and this duct is called duct of Santorini. This duct opens directly into the small intestine, or you can also call it accessory duct. This is small in diameter, and this is small in diameter. That is why this is also not having any sphincter at the opening over here. It opens over here into the duodenum, and this is not having any sphincter, while this one, this this part of this pancreatic duct combines with the bile duct. This is the bile duct. This combines with the bile duct before opening into the duodenum. So this is the bile duct, this is the pancreatic duct. The pancreatic duct and the bile duct combined together to make an ampulla-like structure, and opens into the duodenum. So in the duodenum, before opening, there is this one. This, you can see a muscular structure over here. This is the sphincter of Uri. This is called sphincter of Uri. This is the sphincter which opens when the food reaches over here. So over here, this is called hepatopancreatic duct. This is called hepatopancreatic duct. Ampulla obturator, you can also call it. This portion is called ampulla obturator. So the bile comes from, and this pear-like structure, there is the gallbladder. Actually, in the gallbladder, the bile is stored, which comes from through hepatic duct to the over here to gallbladder, and from gallbladder the stored bile goes into the bile duct to the cystic duct. This is the cystic duct, and this cystic duct goes over here to make the bile duct, and this bile duct combined with the pancreatic duct to make hepatopancreatic duct, which opens over here with ampulla-like structure. That is called ampulla obturator, and which is surrounded or guarded by the sphincter of Uri. This comes over here and secrete bile and pancreatic juices together into the duodenum. So I have already told you in the beginning that this portion, the duodenum, is actually basically responsible for the secretory function of the small intestine. It also is responsible for the absorption, but a lot of secretion take place over here. Now further, you can see in the figure, this is the small intestine. This is the small intestine. That may be duodenum or ileum or jejunum. Uh, you can I have not told you about the duodenum, about the ileum. Ileum is called ileum because this is always in twisted form. Ileum is the word which is also derived from the Greek word that means the twisted, to in twisted form. That is why this is called twisted ileum. Okay, though this is the small intestine, that may be duodenum or ileum or jejunum. So the internal surface of the small intestine is rough. Okay, so the small intestine is having this is the internal lumen of the small intestine, and you can see the crust-like structure inside the lumen. The crust-like or the folded shape structure inside the lumen. This actually increase the surface area of the small intestine to enhance the absorption. When the surface area of the intestine is increased, the chances of absorption of nutrients and water and minerals also get enhanced. So the internal surface of the lumen is always in crust shape, or you can see in the folded shape. The small intestine, the this folded shape structure, each fold is called plica. Each fold is called plica circularis or plica. You can simply call it plica. And you should also be clear over here that the plica, each plica consists of some other fold or some other finger-like projections. Each plica, you can see over here that each plica consists of finger-like projection, that those are called villi. And you should also be clear over here that each villi consists of large number of finger-like small projection or cilia-like structure. Each villi, then each villi consists of large finger-like projection or a small hair-like structure that are called microvilli. We are coming there to that in the next slide, but you should be clear that just like I have told you in the stomach, that the stomach consists of the outermost layer, that is serosa, and then the muscularis, and then the submucosa, and then the mucosa. So you should be clear over here that the serosa and the muscular layer are not folded. Actually, the submucosa and mucosa layer is folded. Uh, you can also see over here that the submucosa consists of the veins and arteries and lymphatic duct, etc. The submucosa consists of these structures. You should be clear over here that the small intestine internal structure. These are the internal structure of the small intestine. Each these are two villi. Two villi are this one is villus. One is called villus and two are called villi. So each villi consists of a large number of microvilli. These are microvilli. These are the microvilli, and this one is villus or villi. Two are called villi, more than two are called villi, and single is called villus. So uh, you can see a lot of in each villi or in each villus, a lot of a large number of cells are over here, but large number of cells, or majority of the cells, are actually the absorptive enterocytes. Absorptive enterocytes, you can see over here. Because absorption takes place, the basic function of the intestine is absorption. So the absorptive enterocyte mean entero mean intestine, and site mean cells, and so the cells which are responsible for absorption of food particles and nutrients and liquids, etc., and those are absorptive enterocytes. You can also see over here the stem cell. Over here, stem cell is actually the original cell from which all the cells are made. These are the original cells. The stem cells are original cells from which all the cells are originated, or from which differentiate into all these cells. These are stem cells. So another one, this is Paneth cell. These are Paneth cell. The Paneth cell are everywhere. Paneth cell are actually a defensive cell, and those cells which are responsible for the secretion of lysozyme. For the secretion of lysozyme, that is called defensin. This is also responsible for the secretion of defensin and lysozyme. The lysozyme actually split the bacterial cell wall, and other microorganisms split the microorganism. Defensin, that is also the secretion of Paneth cell. That is actually responsible for the neutralization of bacteria and other microbes, for the killing of bacteria and other microbes. You should also be clear over here that the secretion of Paneth cell do not kill the normal flora of the intestine. Okay, the next one, the stem cell. These are the original cell. The goblet cell are everywhere in the body. Goblet cell are maybe in the mouth, maybe in the respiratory tract, and maybe in the intestine. The goblet cells are responsible for secretion of mucus. You can also call the mucus cell. The enteroendocrine cell, these are very important cells. Enteroendocrine cell over here, enteroendocrine cell, green color. The enteroendocrine cells are those cells which are responsible for the secretion of hormone. But you should declare over here that the hormone are not released into the lumen. Hormone are the basic definition of hormone is the fructiferous material which are secreted into the bloodstream. So these hormones are secreted into intercellular spaces, which are absorbed into the bloodstream from here, which are absorbed into the bloodstream. The enteroendocrine cells are responsible for the secretion of hormone, and those hormones are secreted directly into intercellular spaces, which are absorbed into the bloodstream. These are not released into the lumen. You should be clear on here that these are not secreted into the lumen, just like the enzymes. So the secretion of the enteroendocrine cells are various types of enteroendocrine cells are there. These enteroendocrine cells are responsible for the secretion of I should write over here these. For the secretion of cholecystokinin. This is also responsible for secretion of secretin. These two are basic hormones. A lot of hormones are there, but these are the major hormones which are secreted by enteroendocrine cell, and these enteroendocrine cells secrete these hormones, and these hormones, the cholecystokinin is responsible majorly for the secretion of bile from the gallbladder, and this is also responsible for the secretion of pancreatic juices from the pancreas, but majorly responsible for the secretion of bile. So you can say this is the hormone which help in the digestion of fats, because the bile is the secretion of gallbladder, which helps in the emulsification of fats. Emulsification means to convert the large droplets of fats into small droplets. Similarly, the secretin, over here, the secretin is responsible for the. This is also minor. This secretin also activate. This is also responsible for the stimulation of the gallbladder to secrete the bile, but majorly it acts on the pancreas and the stomach. The secretin is responsible for majorly for the stimulation of pancreas to secrete the pancreatic juice and the bicarbonates, pancreatic juices and bicarbonates. This is also responsible for the secretion of gastric juices in the stomach. So these are the two main hormones which are responsible for for bile and that pancreatic juices secretion. And you already know that the pancreatic juices consist of a large number of enzymes which are responsible for the breakdown of carbohydrate, protein, fats, and nucleic acids. The that also responsible for secretion of one of the protein digestive enzyme, that is the trypsinogen. The trypsinogen is also secreted from trypsinogen is also one of the enzyme of the pancreatic juice that is secreted in form of trypsinogen, not trypsin. Just like pepsinogen in the stomach, over here trypsinogen is secreted, and this trypsinogen later on converted into trypsin by one of the enzyme that is secreted by the enterocytes. Enterocytes secrete the enzyme that is called enterokinase. And enterokinase is responsible for the conversion of trypsinogen into trypsin. So the absorptive enterocyte, these are responsible for the absorption of large number of nutrients from the intestine. The last one is tough cell. A lot of research is still going on tough cell, and tough cell this have a major role in the defense mechanism of the intestine, major role in defense. This do not secrete any enzyme for the splitting of bacteria, but this is responsible for. Now this actually, the tough cell consists of large number of hair-like projection. The tough cell consists of large number of hair-like projection. That is why this is called tuft-like structure, and which sense any allergen in the stomach, and which provides signal to the body for the for any reaction in the body for defense mechanism. And so over here in the next diagram you can see that the this is the small intestine, and this is the plica. These are the circular four are called plica. These are the villi, and villi consist of further microvilli, and each villi, now you can see in the diagram that each villi is provided with the green color. The green color is actually the lacteal. The green color is actually lymphatic duct, and the white and the blue and the red color is actually the these are the capillaries, and these veins and arteries, and over here capillaries. So over here you should learn about, you should be clear that the two types of nutrients are there which are absorbed in the intestine. One is the water soluble and the other is the lipid soluble. For example, you can imagine the vitamins. two types of vitamins are there. The vitamin B and C are the water soluble, and vitamin A, D, E, and K vitamins are actually the lipid soluble. These two types of the vitamin B and C are absorbed into the bloodstream in this capillaries, while the vitamin A, D, and E, and K are absorbed into the leg tail. So all the lipid soluble materials are absorbed into the leg tail, while the water soluble material should be absorbed into the capillaries. This is not absolute. There's nothing absolute in the world, so this is not absolute. Some of the lipid soluble material can also be absorbed into the capillaries, but the water soluble material can never be absorbed into the leg tail. Now, from this point, you should be clear that these capillaries further goes to make veins, and these veins, after absorption of blood, these after absorption of nutrients into this blood, this goes into into these capillaries. From these capillaries, it goes into the vein, and from these veins combine together, as I have told you, just like in the mesenteric vein. This is the mesenteric vein, and this mesenteric vein goes and combine with the and make you can see make a duct, or make a blood vessel, that is called portal vein. That is called portal vein, a hepatic portal vein. So the hepatic portal vein goes directly into the liver. That goes unlike other veins which goes directly into the right atrium of the heart, or which goes directly into inferior vena cava. This do not goes directly into inferior vena cava. These mesenteric vein goes to form hepatic portal vein, and that hepatic portal vein will go into the liver, and from the liver then hepatic vein will arise, and that hepatic vein will go into the inferior vena cava, and then into the right ventricle. But over here I should add another thing, that all those lipid soluble material which are absorbed into the leg tail do not into the leg tail. These leg tails combine together and to make a big lymphatic duct, which goes and combine with the subclavian vein. Combined with subclavian vein, these leg tails open into subclavian vein, and that subclavian vein drain blood into the right atrium. All those material which are absorbed into the leg tail actually bypasses the liver. The absorption actually take place in the intestine. A lot of absorption take place in the intestine. That may be absorption of nutrients, that may be absorption of carbohydrates, particles, lipid particles, or protein particles, or nucleic acid particles also. Some vitamins also absorbed over here, but the minerals are not absorbed. Some minerals are also absorbed over here, but not all the minerals. A lot of minerals are absorbed in the large intestine. Up to this point, you should be clear about the small intestine.